Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Mondays with Michelle video. This week, we will explore the East Riding Archives at the Treasure House in Beverly. We'll discuss the collections catalog, research guides, and digitized documents available. We'll also take a close look at some of the special projects featured on the website and the archive's innovative What Was Here app. Let's get started. I do have a handout for this presentation, so you don't have to worry about taking lots of notes unless you want to, because the handout will include links to all of the pages and the websites I'm showing. So when I did a Google search on East Riding Archives and Treasure House, I came up with this website for the East Riding of Yorkshire Council. And the reason why I'm showing you this page is just to give you an idea of what the Treasure House is. The Treasure House is a building that used to be part of the original town library and the art gallery in Beverly. And it houses not only the archives. The Treasure House building also houses the Beverly Library, a museum and art gallery. So this particular page gives you access to other information, not just the archives itself. But what we're going to focus on today is the actual archives. And if we click on this visit website and go to the East Riding Archives page, this is the home page for the East Riding Archives website. Now, the website is actually set up in a fairly straightforward, easy to navigate fashion. You've got a few key menus along the top. What I do find, however, is it's easy to miss some of the information available. You need to make sure you are scrolling down the page, because if you notice, there's a lot of information further down. So this home page, if you scroll down to the bottom, it does have a link to their blog. So if you want to find out what their latest projects are, you can go to that blog link and find out what they're doing. So let's first take a look at this using the archives. And again, if I just hover over that using the archives menu option, you will see that there are three choices. There's a family history guide, a local history guide, and a property history guide. I'm not going to click on any of those guides right now. Instead, I'm just going to click on the menu name, Using the Archives. And that brings me to the Using the Archives homepage. And the reason why I wanted to do that was to show you for each of these menu items, there is a lot more information available if you just click the menu item name than what you would see for those options listed. See at the very bottom here, these are the three guides they talk about, but there's all kinds of other information on this page, including a link to East Riding photos, including information about a DVD, a project on the First World War, talks and tours, help with research. So make sure when you are looking at this website that you don't just click on the options underneath the menus. Make sure that you're actually scrolling down through the page. So what we are going to do now is go to the family history guide. And what I want to show you is when you go into these guides, it will basically give you information and clues to help you focus your research. So for example, I clicked on family history. If we look at the property history guide, it'll tell you the kinds of records that might help you with your research. So it does give you some helpful information. Let's now go back and look at the collections page. So if I click collections in the menu at the top, I come to this collections homepage. And again, it's got information on the catalog. It's got links for what's in the collection, got information if you happen to visit in person, you can actually see their conservation workshop. It also gives you information on caring for their collection and how you can look after your own documents. So what we're going to do is hover over the collections tab, and we're going to first look at the what's in the archive page. So this particular page tells you the kinds of records they hold, and what they've given you here is a list of categories. If we click, for example, on the people category, it's telling you that they have records, all these different types. If we click on parish registers, it will give a description, and more importantly, even though it might not look like they are clickable, these words parish register list and non-Church of England register list, they are clickable links. If I was to click on that link, it brings up a PDF file which you could download or print out, which is the list of all of the registers on deposit. So much like the archive websites we looked at last week, they do have these handy lists of their holdings. So we were in collections, we looked at what's in the archive. Let's now take a look at the online catalog. And you will notice you come to a screen that, again, looks very much like the screen we saw last week when we were looking at the NICRO archive website. And you can type a surname, a topic, a place name. So I'm going to search for my Renton ancestors, and I click search. And again, it defaults to 5 records shown, but I can change that to say, show me all of them. I've got 62 results. And just like with the NICRO website, I can click on the date column and it will sort by date. And to look at one of these records, I would, let's see, inquests. That sounds interesting. I would click on this finding number, and it's going to bring me to a detailed description of that item. Now, although you can't view these items online, I find even if I can't see the actual image, the description is often enough to at least give me some additional clues. And by looking at the detailed description, I can get a good idea of whether it's worth arranging to have a copy made of these documents or to arrange for someone to access them for me from the archive. To get back to the search results, you can either go return to search results at the bottom or click search results at the top, and you're back into your search results screen. So that is very much like the same kind of interface that we saw with the Nicro website last week. And again, if you need more information, there's under help, there's these other options you can choose that will enable you to use their search facility more efficiently. There is an advanced search. You can look at image gallery. So there is quite a bit to explore. Let's take a look now at the Archives Online page. So I just went to the Archives Online main menu, and you notice there's 2 items listed under it. Instead of selecting one of those, I'm going to just click on Archives Online. It brings me to the home page for this section. And I'm just going to scroll down to show you how much is available, because again, they only listed 2 items in their dropdown. We have something called the What Was Here app, which I'll be showing you. We have an entire digital archive. So unlike the search screen that we were in a few minutes ago, this particular archive is all information that you can look at online. There's some new projects that they're doing. This Join the Archiverse. Here are the 2 items listed in the drop-down, the World War I Lives and the Hornsea Pottery. They have maps, historical maps, and I'll be showing you that. There are links to the British Newspaper Archive website, Find My Past, Ancestry. There is a link to their very extensive Flickr collection, and I'll be showing you that a little bit later. And video links, various other articles in their blogs. So as I said, it's well worth making sure that you explore not only the items listed underneath the menu, but clicking on that menu item itself so that you can see everything that's there. So let's take a look first at this What Was Here app. What they have basically done is created an app for your cell phone, your iPad, your device, and they have curated various walking paths, if you will, through many of the major towns. And the idea is you would go to these places, and using your cell phone, you get a narrated talk with historical images of that area. And because this app works on your device, your cell phone, your iPad, it knows where you are, and it uses your device's camera so that when you look through your cell phone camera at the scenery around you, it will then overlay the present day image with a historical image. And I'll just show you on this video clip. You will see what's going to happen. So this is the current view that you are seeing when you go for your walk. Your cell phone will overlay it with that historical image. There's Howden now. There's the image of the same spot, Howden in 1900. So it's a very interesting concept. The apps are free. And even if you aren't in a position to actually visit the that area, there is still benefit in downloading the app because you can play through all of the different stops on the walking trail through the app from the comfort of your home. And you can see the overlaid images, hear the narration, and get the benefit of that. If you don't have a cell phone or an iPad, you can go to the whatwashere.org website, and you can do the same thing on your computer. So all you would do is click View Map. And it brings you to a map showing all of the spots where they have images and where they have defined trails. And the numbers in these dots indicate how many photos they have available. So for instance, if we look at the one for Beverly, you can see there are 366 photos that they've accumulated for walking trails, if you will, in Beverly. And what you would do is you can decide what year's maps you want to overlay. So if I say I want to look at the 1800s, you notice it's redrawing the screen to overlay it with the historical map. And if I now click on that 366 to zoom in, and I'll just keep zooming in, I'm seeing all of these little dots that are forming that walking trail. And if I see a dot with a 2, that's 2 pictures. If I click on it, it's zooming in so I can actually see the street and I can look at the pictures and bring up the pictures. So again, even for those of us who don't live close enough that we can actually walk down those streets, you can still use this app because you can go back in and look at the images, look at a historical map. You can also switch to a satellite view. So if I take a look here, I'm just back at the beginning. For instance, if I go in again to look at the map, I can also choose to look at a modern satellite view and drill down. So there are ways for those of us that don't live in the area, you can still get great benefit from this particular tool. Now, I have given you links to an article that they wrote, a blog article that shows you some screenshots of what the app looks like and talks about the fact that it's expanded beyond the Beverly area and East Riding. It now includes North Allerton. So some of the other archives, the NICRO for one, have been partnering with them to bring this same concept to areas outside of the East Riding. And I've given you the links to all of those items. So we've talked about the What Was Here app. The next one I'd like us to look at is this World War I Lives exhibition. So if you click World War I Lives, or if you go up to the top and click First World War Lives, you will come to this particular homepage. And The First World War Lives project, there's a little introduction here. It says a team of volunteers researched the lives of over 1,100 individuals whose photographs were published in the Green's Beverly Almanac and the Beverly Guardian newspaper. And what this particular website shows is you can look at information in this book that they created that covers the lives of 50 of those people. You can also get a complete list of all of the servicemen that they researched. And there is information further down in this section on how you can access the files of some of those people who they researched that might not be on this website. So to give you an idea of what that list looks like, because I did download it, I'll just show it to you. You can get it in PDF format or as an Excel spreadsheet, but I'm just going to scroll through so you get an appreciation. These are all of the individuals they researched. So it is an extensive list. Now, if we go back to this World War I archive, we can go in to different chapters and browse. So for instance, if we look at teenagers in service, if I click on that link, it takes me to that chapter, gives the introduction. There are pictures. We can choose to jump to a different category, or we can just continue scrolling down. So this is the typical type of biographical information you get. And they've got information on the Church Lads Brigade. You can use these arrows to scroll through, and it's like paging through that section of the book. So I think this particular portion of their website, the World War I Lives, is really interesting to explore, and I'd encourage you to spend some time and take a look at it. There is also a similar interactive display here about the Hornsea Pottery Company. So if you have ancestors who worked there, if you're interested in finding out more about that, they have a similar interactive display. So we've talked about the What Was Here app. We've talked about the World War I Lives. What I want to do now is look at this Preservica digital archive. So if we click Visit the Digital Archive, you come to this homepage. And if you scroll down, what you are seeing here is a list of all the digital archive collections they have. And it's pretty hard to tell from just looking at the names of some of these whether they will have the information that you want. So what you can do is click on one of the items. It will bring you to the details of that particular item. If I now want to look at all of the archives, I can just click that Browse Archives button, and you'll notice we have a few icons at the top here. Right now, If I click this first icon, I can see everything in list format or table format or those tiles. So I tend to like looking at everything in list format. We have a search bar up top. So if I search, this gives me all of the information, and you'll notice there is Welton Overseers of the Poor account book. We've got an item called Welton Records, digital copies. There's information on the Methodist Circuit records. There's apprenticeship indentures. Now, one thing to note, if we click on this Welton Records digital copies, you will see at the top here, there's a description. If I click show more, it will tell me all of the items that are in this particular collection. Now, not all of those items are available online, but for this record set to be in this digital archive means that there are at least some of the items that have been digitized. So to see which ones are available, I would click on the record the way I did, and these are the entries that are available digitally. So for example, I could look at an apprenticeship indenture, and it will bring me to the actual document number. I can click on that document number or on the picture and give it a minute, and it will display the image. And here we have the indenture image. So again, it's nice that they have all of these items available for you to view from the comfort of your home. Let's now go back again to that Archives Online page, that main page for the Archives Online. And I want to show you what they have in their Flickr collection. So Flickr is a photo sharing website. If I click on East Riding of Yorkshire, what you will see is all the albums that they've created. And for instance, they've got pictures from the First World War lives. They have policing, various archives of early East Ridings. So again, it's well worth taking a look to see what is available. The last item I want to show you for this website is further down that same Archives Online page. We have a link to maps. And the way this website works, you can type in a place. So for instance, if I type in Malton and I press search, it brings me up a list of all of the places and the map segments they have. So for instance, for Malton and Norton, I could look at an 1890 view. And I find it does take a few minutes, at least on my computer. It does take a few minutes to refresh and bring up the map. My computer has thinking time. And there it is. And I can go in and look at any areas on that map. And you can change the glass size and the magnification. I can enlarge it even more. So again, that is another feature of this website. And The other way you can access the information is by moving your mouse, and you'll notice on the right-hand side as I move the mouse, place names pop up, and if I then click, I come to a grid, and these numbered buttons on the right represent the grid squares. So if I click, for instance, on number 9, it will tell me for that particular square, these are the two maps available, one from 1910 and one from 1927. And I would select whichever one I want, and I would see that view of the area, just like what I showed you a few minutes ago. I hope you enjoyed learning more about the East Riding Archives. There is a handout for this talk. You can find the link in the video description at the bottom of your screen. Thanks for watching.